gone ahead now and added the main pages or papers to my pages. So as I showed you, if you lay it out, you've got them sort of head to head, if you like, and because we haven't sealed anything down yet, I've got a little gap all the way around because that's what I like when I'm doing my pages, and I've got the pull out sections as well. So I've got all 4 pages done. I've not added any stamps to these yet or any glittery bits at all. I've just kept it, it's just adding the main pages to the paper at the moment. So the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and put the circle punches in like we did with the card. The only thing this time is with the card we had it on one side. I think I might add it to both sides with this. So let's just take these off. So this is page 1. I've already gone through and sorted my papers out to which way around I want to have them. So I'm now going to mark the middle of each page so I can get my circles correctly. So that's 5 3/4. So I'm going to need to do, so 5 is 2 1/2. I think it works out 2 7/8, which is just there. Okay, so let's just go ahead and mark those. I'm wondering if I can punch through 2 at the same time. It might be a bit hard to do because I've got the pattern papers on there as well. I'm just lining that up because I'm just doing a half circle punch. Yes, it's not going to quite go through all of them, it's only going to go through one at a time. So let's get this one cut through and then we'll have to match it up. You may have a half circle punch that will do that. This one isn't going to do that, unfortunately. So that's the first one out. And then what I can do is match over like that to then take my second one out. My punch is not wanting to play ball today at all. I know I'm using it upside down, it's probably not helping, but that's it. So then when they go together, they're both the same. Now you can cut your half circles out and then glue on your pages, but I find that a lot harder to do. I've glued my pages on and I've edged just around the edges with ink, so I don't like that just cut look, with just some tattered rows from the Distress, Tim Holtz Distress stain. So that can go inside there, so you can pull it out each way. Okay, so I just need to go ahead now and do my others. I don't need to get in a muddle with my pages either, because that will not be very good. So let me just mark these off. Probably be better off to lay it on the table. I'm doing it all a bit hack-handed this way around. That's 2. So as I say, I've sort of gone ahead and sorted out my pages and what I want which way round. So that's not a problem at all. This one's already half cut, so let's just do the other bit of that. It's great when you can do projects using these freebie paper pads, because you obviously pay for the magazine, but if you can get a freebie paper pad in it as well, as you know, a 6x6 paper pad can cost you, in the UK here, best part of £5. So to get one free in the magazine, that's paying for your magazine really. So it's quite nice when you get something for nothing, and I always think it's nice to have things for free. So those done. A bit of hard work there, but there we go. Another thing I may do at this stage is to add my ribbon, which when we add the ribbon, we're not going to add the ribbon, sorry, add the holes for the ribbon. I might do that before we start gluing everything together. I'm only going to put a hole on the top of the pages. I'm not going to put a hole on each side. So I'm going to bring my pile of pages in again. As you see with my pages, I'd already gone ahead and added my double-sided tape ready for sticking these pages together. So I'm actually only going to put a hole on the front part of the page, not on the back, even though we've got that element to pull it out as well. So if you didn't want to go ahead and put a slider ribbon on this album, you could just leave it like that and have the pull out tag. It's entirely your choice, but I think the slider ribbon looks different for a change. It's quite nice to have a different type of album. So just go into the middle where the hole is. So I've got the hole there just in the middle, just a little bit down. So there again, I'm going to lay these in order as I've spent the time going through working out where I wanted them. And then we'll go, the next job we need to then do is to make our hinge. The paint now is dry on my cover, and I hope it is on yours too. It doesn't take that long to dry, but I did do 2 coats because being a cereal packet, obviously that outside layer has got that waxy texture, so I wanted to paint over that not to see if the patterning come through. If you don't have a crocodile to make these hole punches, you can just use a silent setter, hole puncher. Even if you've got a normal office one that's got 2, you can still make your holes with that. That's not a problem at all. So the next thing we need is another sheet of the 12 by 12. I've already gone ahead and sorted out what papers I want for the front cover of my album. So my paint is now dry, so I want this on the front cover, but what I thought I'd do is to lift it a little bit on the front there, is I've cut a mat out of the green. That will also give it a bit more firmness, so you've got a little bit of edging round with that. I've cut this little piece here for the spine. Lay that over there because I thought that looked quite nice on the spine there. And then on the back here, now obviously this piece of green here is 6 1/4 by 6 1/4, so I couldn't do 2 pieces of 6 1/4 by 6 1/4, so I've got a little piece that comes out, but I'm still going to use that on the back because I can put some ribbon or some trim round it, and as I do this back bit you'll see what I mean. So I've used the 1 sheet of green to take those 2 elements out. I've got a spare piece left, and then I've also cut the pieces for our hinge. Now the hinge is, you need 1 piece that's going to be 2.5 inches and 1 piece that's going to be 1.5 inches. And I've cut both mine at 5.5 inches long. Okay, so 5.5 inches by 2.5, 5.5 inches by 1.5. We then need to score these, and we're going to do a stack the deck again with this album. So we need to have a 1/2 inch score line for our hinge, and another one on this side, and then we'll just double score that so it's got the flexibility. I'm just using the same green basil cardstock for the hinge. And I thought by using the same colour it's tying in with the pages so you get that seamless look. I could have used cream if I wanted, but I thought I'll stick with the green. Okay, that's those 2. I'll burnish these score folds. This one. Okay, so that's your hinges there. And we'll do the same again with this one. And then we'll start getting the hinges to come together. So that's going to go on top of here. So I'm going to put a bit of tape down the middle of that. I'm just using some strong double-sided tape on this. You can use red line tape if you feel more comfortable. If you're going to use wet glue, I would definitely recommend that you give it time to take off as well. That's why I'm using the double-sided tape rather than wet glue. So just put my knife in to take that off. Just line this up. And when you're lining this up, this is the same measurement now as that inside piece. So it makes it very easy to actually line up. So let's take it from the top. In fact, you could even just have a line here from the side. That's central, yeah. I'll get my bone folder again and just smooth that down. And then we need to do the same on the back here. I've got some wider tape here for the back. I'm not going right on that score line because that score line is going to be the first hinge. So I'm just coming inside of it. Go ahead and add our hinge. I'm going to add the pages with you, and then I'm going to finish off the decoration with the covers and the pages after that. So we'll get to this stage and then at least you'll know where you're going. So looking at this, if I bring all those hinges in, you can see probably a little bit better that this fits inside those two fold lines there. It doesn't fit flush to it. Okay, so you might be worth just marking with a pencil, just so you get you're comfortable with where you're going. So that's 5.5. If I remember right, that's 6.5. So we've got 1/2 inch each end, and I think I'm going to do a mark there and a mark there. I might do angel wings to attach this. A lot of you who have followed me will know what I mean when I say angel wings, and you'll see why in a minute. That one piece that side. And the other piece on that side. Tap those down. I'm just going to turn it to the side while line it up. So just take your time lining it up. I'm just eyeballing this on the sides here. I'm just seeing where my tape is overhanging. Before I take any more off, I'm now moving down to the bottom, lining it up with the mark I've made at the bottom, and then wiggling it to get it central to where I want it, so it's in the centre. So now I'm happy with that, and I'm going to hold my hand here, and then I'm going to pull these off. So I pull one side off first, smooth that down, and then we can pull the other side off. That's why I call it angel wings, because it's like two little wings that you pull aside. So okay, so that's our hinge now in our book. Because we've got the paint on this side, that's not a problem. I haven't decided what pattern papers I'm putting on the inside, but as you see, by having that little bit of paint all the way round, we've got a border on there, so it just finishes it off quite nicely. So let's go ahead and add our pages now, so you see how that all comes together. So I'm going to start with the last page, so I'm working in reverse now. So we're going to start with this last page. So I'm going to take my tag out at this stage, because this now has to be attached to there. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is line up centrally where I want it. Now there again, you don't want this right on your score line. I want it just down from your score line, not even 1/8 of an inch, I'd say. But what I'm doing is I'm butting it up to it in the centre. Get in the centre there, and just eyeballing the centre point here. If you're not comfortable with where your centre point is, please do mark it. This tape is really sticky. And then I'm just going to flap that piece over. Now if I look that side, see I'm not on, you can see that I'm not on the score line, I'm just that tiny little hair's bit shy of it. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is take this one off the bottom here. Because then that will help hold that piece in place, because it's now really sticky now. And then I need to then get some more of my double-sided, and there again put not right on that score line, shy bit there. As you see, I've just got a little bit of this, take this card here, so it's not going to stick anything that when you put the card in and out it won't work. Because that's the other thing, if you put your glue too far or you tape too far over, when we put this in, it's just going to keep sticking to it. Okay, so that's that one done. So now I'm going to go ahead, pull this backing off. And this is where you try and hold it down, because it's really sticky. It. Let me just take your time trying to line it up with everything. And that's your first page in. You can now slot that in, and that's the first page now in. And then what you need to do is to go ahead and now do the rest. So I'll start off another one again with you. So take this off. So line it up with the page you've already got in there as well now. Have that as your marker for having it level. It's sticking like mad to me. Fresh bit on the sides. I'll do it as I go along, it's easier. If you feel your normal double-sided tape isn't quite sticky enough, as you can see what I'm using here is really sticky, please do use red line tape, you know, if you're not happy with that, because at the end of the day you don't want to take the time putting the album together and then have it fall apart because your tape isn't sticking. Take that top one off and bring this one down again. nicely stuck. As you can see, the pages then lay nice and flat as well. So I'm now going to go ahead and add my last 2 pages, pop that tag in there, and then I'm going to come back to you and I'll get my front and back cover decorated to show you, and my ribbon strews. I'm going to come back to you and show you how we'll finish off these last few bits in the album, just to give you some ideas if you wanted some ideas on how to decorate it. So I'll see you in a minute.